Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ontario Cryptids. I hope everyone had a great week and was able to do something special for Valentine's Day. Here we ordered in and relaxed for the evening, so no dishes or cooking for me on Wednesday night, which was a nice break. If you have an encounter story that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Now sit back and relax as we begin with today's episode. The date is November 12, 2003. We're heading to Sabine Parish, Louisiana, and the nearest town is Many. I will tell you about my visual sighting. I do have one ongoing encounter with many sounds and odor encounters, which happened the same way that I had the sighting. It was a winter night about 10 p.m. I took my dog out. We were outside for about 10 minutes when I saw a creature standing 20 to 25 feet away. It was next to a small building with the woods behind it. There was a street light 50 feet behind me. I know it's not my shadow. My shadow stopped 10 feet short of its feet. As we looked one another over, the dog just wanted to go inside. At the time, I heard a noise to my right and I turned to see what it was. I saw nothing. I turned back and the creature turned to look as well. The smell was like a wet deer, but 10 times worse. The creature was around 8 to 9 feet tall. Dark hair covered its body. It seemed to get upset because I did not run. It took a type of defensive posture and looked me up and down. The mood seemed to change. I thought it might charge. At this point, I went inside and let the dog go. I got my gun and went back outside, but it was gone. However, I could still hear him in the woods. It was about 8 to 9 feet tall and at least 500 pounds. The shoulders span around 4 to 5 feet. It had to be a large male due to the way it acted and its movements and presence. I say this from my years of hunting and just watching wildlife. The next day I found a single print that was about 5 inches wide at the heel. This was the best part you could see. It was about 18 to 20 inches long. I feel there was only one due to the fact that we had no rain for weeks. The night was dry and clear. There was no wind or clouds in the sky. I have no doubt what I saw. I know what all the local wildlife looks like, including the rare black bears that come along. I would be very interested in speaking to someone from your group. This has been going on for the last 3 years and not slowing down. Thank you for giving me a place to report. I know of other people that have had encounters also. This next one takes place February 9th, 2004. We're heading to Prince of Wales County, Alaska, and the nearest town is Heidelberg. This incident happened last night just after 11 p.m. My daughter was home alone. She lives with my relatives who was out of town. She called me at 11:22 p.m. and she was terrified. She said she could hear something walking back and forth by her bedroom window. She also said she looked out the window when she first heard it and saw something big and black, really big. She described the thing to have been about 3 to 4 feet above the bottom of the window. When I went down to look behind the house this morning, I stood by the window. I am 5'4", and my eyes just reached the bottom of the window. So I figure this thing must have been 7 to 8 feet tall. We live in a small village of less than 500 population. There are a lot of bushes and trees in between the houses. Their house is close to the beach, and there is a forest surrounding the town. Now, I never know my daughter to be afraid of anything, but last night when I went to pick her up, she was shaking like a leaf, and she was hysterical. It took me almost an hour to calm her down. I questioned her about what had happened. She called me about 5 minutes after she first saw it. She was too scared to move. When I got down there, I would not look behind the house, but she was hiding in my relative's closet. She said it was walking back and forth right behind the house. She described the footsteps as a sound that someone very large walking on 2 feet, kind of like stomping. My daughter is very down to earth, not one prone to dramatics. When I first went down there, I didn't really know what was going on, just that my daughter was scared spitless. But I would not look behind the house. When I went up to the house, my hair felt like it was standing on end, and I had goosebumps really bad. I was scared and I didn't know why. This next one takes place on December 18th of 2023. We're going to be heading to Aroostook County, Maine, and the nearest town is Mars Hill. A big storm blew in around 7 a.m. and didn't move off until about 12:30 a.m. It knocked out power to our home sometime around 7 p.m. We have a chicken coop about 40 feet from our house. It is 2 feet off the ground and a 12 by 20 with an entrance door that used to be the front door to our home. It was about 8:30 p.m. Sunset is around 3:30 this time of the year when I was shining my flashlight out an upstairs window when I saw a dark silhouette standing in front of my coop. The top of his head was in line with the top of the coop door. It was very muscular, broad shoulders, long upper arms with proportionately shorter lower legs. It was too narrow at the hips to be a bear. We had a black bear and her cubs den near our house a few years ago. This was nothing like her shape. I moved the flashlight to try and get a better look and it disappeared from view. The chicken coop is covered in white siding. There is no mistake that this thing was bipedal. It was facing me when I first shined a light on it. It turned to run off just before I moved the flashlight. Given that the average door is about 7 feet high and the coop is 2 feet off the ground, that would put this thing around 9 feet tall. What had me looking outside was a sound that I heard on the wind that alarmed me to my core. I had spent the day listening to the wind howl and moan, but this was different. It was a guttural, and within that sound of the wind, but not in sync. It caused a physical reaction. My heart started racing and my stomach went into knots. I was tending to 2 of my grandkids that were playing with the flashlight, mostly shadow puppets. I jumped to my feet and told them to hand me a flashlight and turn the other one off. To shine the flashlight outside through the window, I must put it against the window or it just reflects back. To see out the window, all other lights must be off. One of our dogs was barking furiously. Before I could tell my daughter what I saw, they tell me what they were experiencing downstairs with the 2 younger kids and the dogs. Because the power was out, my youngest daughter was charging her phone in her car. She said she went outside to get her phone off the charger and felt that somebody was watching her. The feeling was so intense that she stayed in her car a few minutes to look around and see if she could see anyone. When she got out to head back to the house, she only got a few steps away from her car when she heard the same sound I heard. She said she was instantly terrified and ran into the house. The dog was in the window barking as she was coming through the door. My oldest daughter said that when she heard the howl, she saw her dog lift her head and look out the window, then stood up and started barking frantically. The dog was looking in the opposite direction than my youngest daughter, who was just started to run to the front door. Nobody wanted to charge their phones in the vehicles after that. This was not a mistaken identity about the sounds. We were in a 30-mile-per-hour wind with 55-mile-per-hour gusts and a downpour of rain in December. I don't know of any animal, domestic or wild, that would be out in that weather. In the morning after sunrise, my oldest daughter went out to the trash bin that is next to the chicken coop. She found that the heavy lid was lifted off the bin and set on the back of the bin opposite the direction that the wind had been blowing. 2 large bags of trash were missing, and there was a trail of trash into the woods. The critters tear up the trash in the bins and pick out what they want. They do not carry 55-gallon trash bags home with them. There are no tracks of any kind because we don't have any soft mud spots. It's either gravel or grass around the entire area of our property. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this week. These were all truly amazing, and I hope you all enjoy these encounter stories today. Now, this upcoming Monday will be a family day up here in Canada, so I would like to wish all Canadian viewers a happy family day. Take the time to recharge yourself and spend time with your family. Now I would like to take the time to thank the current OC members, and if you want to become a member, then head on over to the Communities tab on my channel to learn more. The current members are Jim, Teresa, Elizabeth, and Dale. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I would like to ask you all, have you had an encounter similar to these 3 I have shared today? If you would like to share your encounter, you can forward them to OntarioCryptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story on this channel. Thank you all for listening until the end. I truly appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out and smash the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all my latest uploads. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week right here on Ontario Cryptids.